Hey guys, Bridget here. In this video, I want to talk about Framer and Webflow. So I want to give you like a high-level comparison based on my impressions, and I'm not going to go into the nitty-gritty of the technicalities, but rather what is the workflow difference, where should you use Framer or when should you use Webflow. So basically, this is going to give you a high-level understanding of these two platforms before you make your choice for your very next web design project. Now, just to give you context, I've been a UI UX designer for the past decade. I used the Framer quite extensively, especially in the past year, and Webflow for many years on all sorts of different projects. So this is kind of like where I'm coming from. And recently I've been working on this personal website in Framer, and I'm really enjoying the experience. So I'm going to start with this platform. And for us designers, I think one of the major benefits of Framer is that it feels like designing in Figma or in our favorite design tools. So it has much more of this designer experience to it rather than a no-code tool or a low-code tool. So this is definitely something that you want to keep in mind. I also really like the fact that they are essentially implementing tools which are extremely similar in our Figma workflows. For example, the stacks is pretty much working in the same principle as the auto layout in Figma. So if you're experienced with auto layout, or if you even just have a basic grasp, you're going to understand the stacks much faster, which by the way, auto layout is essentially a way for Figma to start bridging the gap between design and development. So regardless, I truly believe that you should understand these principles and start applying them, because I see that in the near future, especially with AI and all of these new workflows and tools that are coming into place, we're going to really bridge the gap between design and development. But that is a topic for a separate video. So one of the things that I also really enjoy about the Framer is the fact that everything is so visual. So even in this case, I have a large breakpoint, and then I have a desktop, tablet, and a mobile view all in a single screen. So I can essentially go ahead and make all the adjustments from a single viewpoint. While with Webflow, it's still quite visual, but it's structured in a different way. So you need to essentially go into the different responsiveness and then you can adjust it, which is not neither a pro or a con. I just personally enjoy having like this high level bird's eye view on the project, and I think it makes it very efficient overall. It feels like Figma. It's in a lot of ways it's like utilizing the very same design process tool that we love using each and every day, but in a web context. Now, another advantage of Framer, which I see really making a strong dent, is the fact that adding effects is extremely easy. And you can simply select an element and you can add an effect over here, appear, hover, press states, loop, drags, and scroll animations. These type of effects are so much easier than pretty much any other website builder that I tested, including Webflow. But I would say that if you need to create something which is quite complex, you're still going to need to basically understand code and inject specific and embed specific code. So I would say for the very most part, you can really do some magic in Framer, but if you really want to push the boundaries and have those really advanced animations and interactions, you're still going to need to understand what's going on behind the scenes. So that's just a caveat on that. And overall, the reason why I chose Framer this time over Webflow, because as you know, I have my main website, Geodesigns, on Webflow, but I'm actually creating a personal website which is on Framer. So the question is, why did I choose Framer for this one? And partially it was due to speed, and I also wanted to just test it out in a personal environment. So I really am enjoying the process, and I'm definitely glad that I chose Framer for this specific project. And the reason is that it's just so easy and fast to implement things in Framer. So for example, when I upload images, the benefit of Framer is that it allows you to optimize them automatically. So it does all the hard work for you. While in Webflow, there's definitely this new tool which allows you to go under the assets, and then you can select, for example, an image. So I'll just do it over here. I can select an image and I can click on compress, but still I just find that workflow an extra step, while in Framer it just does it automatically, and the page speed is absolutely amazing right off the bat. There's no need of any optimization. So this is really something which I believe it's one of those things that really adds up in the speed and making the workflow agile. Now, that being said, I talked a lot about the positives of Framer, so you might think, well, I'm more of a Framer person now than a Webflow one, but in reality, I still think that Webflow has the most flexibility, and is just a stronger platform, especially for long-term and extensive projects. So for example, if a company is reaching out, they need a website that is going to have a lot of pages, maybe a lot of CMS items, connections, Zapier, things of that nature, automations. I would still recommend Webflow because I think it's just a stronger and more flexible platform at this point. But if you're looking to create a website which is more nimble, more agile, doesn't need as many pages or more advanced custom integrations and automations, I think that Framer is really one of the best tools at the moment for that. So again, Webflow, on the other hand, has been around for also a long time. So there's a lot of there's an entire ecosystem that you can leverage in Webflow, and overall it's just such a solid platform in terms especially of customization and the amount of flexibility that it gives you. So my recommendation would be, for the very most part, if you're serious about offering web design services, definitely don't sleep on Webflow because it's an amazing platform, and again, it just has a stronger, larger ecosystem, and it is going to enable you to do things that you currently cannot do in Framer, but it's going to come at a cost, and the cost is it's going to require sometimes more time and effort to achieve the same results that you can do maybe with some quicker shortcuts in Framer. But that is definitely something that you need to take in account, and it's going to be worth it, especially in certain scenarios. So overall, the learning curve with Webflow, I think it's also steeper due to the fact that although they call themselves a no-code tool, I still believe that it's a low-code tool, in the sense that if you really want to maximize your abilities of creating solid websites in Webflow, you need to understand the code. There's tons of libraries. You can use Relium, you can use components, libraries of all sorts, like Flow-based, as you've seen in many of the videos on YouTube that I posted. But if you want to create something custom and you really want to have a solid understanding of what's going on in terms of the structure, and especially not to mess up the classes, because that is Another thing which is really important, you want to have clear class systems and just a clear structure in your Webflow builds. Otherwise, it's going to be difficult to manage in the long run. You still want to have an understanding of at least the basics of code, HTML, CSS, tiny bit of JavaScript that you can, of course, use to add scripts that you find or basically what I'm saying is you don't need to be an expert at JavaScript necessarily in order to add some of the JS integrations that were available, but you want to have a basic understanding. With ChatGPT, you can also really hone and bridge the gap between you and the goal that you're trying to achieve. But still, there is going to be some experience, and you're going to need to experiment with the platform for a bit before you really start getting the hang of it. Not saying that Framer is not going to benefit from you understanding code. I still believe that that is going to be an important part. But overall, it's such a visual platform that it's going to give you a heads up in some of these departments. So this is pretty much it when it comes to the overview of these two platforms, at least from a designer's perspective. If you want to learn more about the nitty-gritty, there's tons of blog posts out there or other YouTube videos. So yeah, that's pretty much it. Hope this video was helpful. If you have any specific questions about your design career, feel free to leave them in the comment section, and I'll see you in the very next video.